So where there is big money and big transactions, you're always going to have fraud, you're always going to have scams. So today, I'm going to tell you about the 5 most common fraud that you can expect in real estate, and we're going to get started. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to All Things Knoxville with me, Ben Barredo, your local real estate pro and relocation expert for East Tennessee. Today we're going to discuss 5 of the biggest real estate frauds and scams that you can or need to watch out for, and we're going to get started in a second. But before we do that, remember, I make videos on this channel all about Knoxville, Tennessee, life here in East Tennessee, what we have to offer, and I also give great tips to buyers and sellers or people in general that are interested in real estate, just like the video today. So if you like that, make sure to come back. I put out a video every single Monday, and I'd love to see you around. Okay, so today we're going to discuss various frauds and scams that are very common when it comes to real estate that people should be on the lookout for and be aware of and be prepared for before they throw their money at some crook that's going to run away with it, and you may never see him again. Today there is a lot of fraud out there. There's probably scams that we haven't even heard of yet, but we're going to discuss the 5 most common because your likelihood of running into these are obviously much greater than with those other ones. So let's just jump right into it, and we're going to start with the first one, and that is wire fraud. If you've ever bought a house or sold a house, especially in the last couple of years, every realtor should be putting a disclosure in front of you regarding wire fraud. This is the most common and most prevalent, whatever the word is, fraud out there that you're going to more than likely run into. I tell every client of mine that unless you hear it from me, from the title company, or the lender, and even from then, unless you hear it from me, do not wire money to anyone. Yes, it's convenient, and I encourage it even, but unless you know the person, do not do it. Again, this is one of the fastest growing real estate scams in the United States today. It usually involves the seller or someone claiming to be the seller asking for someone else in the party to wire a large sum of money to a bank account, and then your money's gone and you never hear from that person again. The FBI statistics from 2017 to 2019, the FBI data from 2019 said that 11,677 people fell victim to wire fraud, with over $221 million being stolen in that year. And that's a 48% increase from 2018. So I don't even know what the numbers are right now in 2022, but I'm sure it's scary. It's probably terrifying, but don't let it stop you from giving me a call if you need to buy or sell. So before sending money to anybody, you need a few tips or some things to keep in mind. Obviously, if you are ever asked to wire money, immediately contact your realtor, and if you don't have one, you should at least have a contact at a title company that you plan to use, or some kind of representation, legal representation to help you with contracts and with the closing process, because that's all pretty much going to be required anyway for you to sell your house. And run whatever the request is by them. Have them look into whoever this person is asking for the money. Now here are some tips to avoid or to use so you don't fall victim yourself. First off, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Again, if you never heard of the person or met the person, don't go sending them money. Don't do that. If they're requesting a large sum of money and you don't know why, or the reasons are a little bit, shady or shaky or, hard to understand, then don't send them money. If you get emails requesting money, even if they have all the correct information in the body of the email, if the email address comes from some long, unrecognizable email, don't send them money. You shouldn't even open that email. Delete them immediately. Report them as spam. But if you're that person out there reporting me as spam after you signed up on my website and got an email from me, you should be ashamed of yourself. Okay, so the second scam we're going to talk about involves predatory lending, also known as loan flipping. Now, loan flipping is when a lender persuades a homeowner to refinance their house for larger and larger sums of money, and it's usually directed at elderly people or disabled people and people on fixed incomes. Eventually, what they'll do is they take your home from you because you've signed basically off your home for these loans that you may never have even received. Here are some quick tips to avoid predatory lending. If you're elderly or if you're impaired, you should have someone that can review documentation with you and to make sure you're not signing anything that you should not be signing. Whether it's a relative, legal representation, or if you live in a nursing home, a doctor or a nurse or something like that. When it comes to refinancing, work only with bankers and lenders that you've heard of and that you know and hopefully have a relationship with. Do your research. Finally, review all the documentation closely. Make sure you understand it, and if there's any kind of push for you to sign the documents before you've had the time to review them yourself and with others, then do not sign it. Just shove it right back at it. Kick them to the curb. Hasta la vista, baby. Okay, the third scam we're going to talk about is foreclosure relief. Hard times can lead to hard decisions and desperate people. And desperate people are easy marks for fraudsters and scammers. What they'll do is claim that they have some kind of magic pill that's going to help you get out of foreclosure. They'll offer to talk to the bank or the lender and try to, you know, reduce your payments or get them to lay off or give you a few months to catch up or something like that. At the end of the day, the only person that you should be talking to when it comes to foreclosure is the body, the bank, the lender that's holding your loan, the person you owe money to. There are companies out there that can help, but be very sketchy and do your research on them. Again, some quick tips, but the best way to handle foreclosure and to avoid it altogether is to communicate with your bank or directly with the loan servicer to modify your loan or give you some time to catch up, or maybe work with them to do some kind of a short sale. Well, you can sell your property and you know, they'll accept the amount of money your property will sell for, even if it doesn't cover the full loan, and then they forgive you for the rest, or maybe put you into some kind of payment plan to take care of the remaining amount. You know, you can request forbearance or some other kind of arrangement, but go directly to the loan servicer before using outside people to do it for you. So the fourth scam we're going to discuss are rental scams or fake listings. This is basically where somebody puts up a fake property, or they may even use a real property, but they put their contact information in there and then try to draw you in that way by asking for a large deposit to get into the property or something along those lines. Rental scams are probably the more common one, and apartments.com has some data on that. They estimated that 5.2 million people in the United States have lost money due to fake rental ads or rental scam. And the average person that in those scams lost over $1,000. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to lose $1,000 no matter how much money I got sitting in the bank. So here are some quick tips to avoid rental scams and fake listings. First off, when it comes to fake listings, contact the brokerage and ask about the person that you either spoke to on the phone or that's advertising it, and see if they work there. Google them online and make sure they're a licensed realtor. Call the local board and make sure they're a member. Second is just get educated on the kind of scams that you could face when looking for apartments or looking to buy a house. Get professional representation, but get educated like you're doing right now watching this video. Another great source is the Federal Trade Commission. They actually have a web page dedicated to scams. So you can go to the FTC website and do some research that way. Additionally, be suspicious of anybody asking for cash up front. If they want a deposit for you just to preview the property or do a showing, then it's a scam. 100%. Don't give them money. They should be showing you that because they want you to rent it. That should be free up front. Again, research the property manager, the owner, the realtor, whoever it is advertising the property. If at all possible, try to avoid any online transaction. I know that's really hard to do in 2022. Everything is online and it does make things super convenient. However, if you got to go that route, make sure that you have done your research and you know it's a credible source that you're working with. Okay, the fifth scam that we're going to discuss is like the bait and switch scam. This one is usually done by movers or people offering some kind of a service, and usually after you've already made a purchase or signed a lease agreement or something like that. What happens is you for movers, you'll fill out information. You might have the movers come to the property and they give you a quote. Maybe, you know, they can help you move your stuff to your new place for $1,000. But then they show up the day of and they tell you it's going to cost you $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000. Even worse, they may load everything up on the truck and then tell you that it's going to cost you $5,000 and basically hold your belongings hostage until you pay them. Even worse is they may take your stuff, get you to agree to an upcharge in the service, and then never show up with your stuff at your new place. So here are some quick tips to avoid the bait and switch situation. 1, ask for a license. Whoever it is offering the service should have some kind of license, or at the very least, some kind of credentials or references that you can call to make sure it's legit. Ask around, and whenever possible, only use referrals. People that your friends, family, people you trust have used, and they refer them to you. And then, most of all, get more than one quote. Like if you're using movers to move your stuff, call 3 to 4 moving companies and have them all give you quotes, and make sure that they're all, you know, there's going to be a difference. They may offer different, you know, amenities in their service, but at the end of the day, there shouldn't be a huge, you know, difference of $1,000 to $5,000 or something like that. And then, lastly, do not put up any large deposits for using these services. I mean, if they're asking for thousands of dollars up front, you should already be skeptical. I mean, maybe a couple $100s to reserve the service, to hold that day or something like that. But, you know, thousands, no. So no large deposits. Now listen, if you are making a move, and if you're watching this video, that's probably a possibility, then you need to check out this checklist I put together right here. This is my moving checklist I give to all my clients that are moving, and it just helps make the process easier. It's a checklist of things that you can do to make sure you're not leaving anything behind, missing any important steps, and to make the process of moving from one place to another that much easier, because it's going to be a headache regardless. So any tools you can use to make it a little bit easier, you should take advantage of. So again, that's my moving checklist, and you can find the link for that in the description. Follow that and go download that PDF today. Now, before we wrap this up, a couple things you can do if you are the victim of fraud or scam. You know, it's going to be hard to get your money back, but you can help others. And one of the things you can do one of the things you can do is report that scam to the FTC. You can go to the website, or you can just Google how to report a scam, and it'll take you to the website and put in all the information that you have, that you can remember, and give that over to the FTC. The next thing you'd want to do is contact the Better Business Bureau, Scam Tracker, and report the incident to them. After that, you can contact your state consumer protection agency and file a report with them. And then lastly is file a report with the local police. They're probably not going to do much of any, or may not be anything they can do. However, at least you have that on file as well, especially for insurance purposes. Well, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for stopping by. It was a pleasure. And until next week, bye-bye.